Welcome to the Lightshark. In this video, we'll give you an introduction and an overview of both the hardware and the first steps in the software and how to get connected to your Lightshark. Here we're looking at the LS1 console, which features 10 playback faders with flash, play, and select buttons, a master fader, multiple pages, programming keys, as well as 4 encoder wheels. The LS1 also features a handy tablet stand, which can put 1 or 2 tablets for control of the Lightshark. On the back panel, we've got our power input and our power switch. Then we'll go ahead, have our antenna, one as marked only for data, and the other for power, just for charging your device, a wired Ethernet port, 2 DMX outputs of both 3 and 5 pin, and then a socket for a desk lamp and a Kensington lock port. Let's go ahead and flip that power switch to turn on the Lightshark. As the console starts up, you'll see a splash screen with a loading indicator. Now the Lightshark interface has fully loaded, and I have a show running with some data on the various faders. What we see here is a couple things that are very important. First and foremost, we'll see the network name of the built-in Wi-Fi and the IP address to connect to. More on that in a second. By default, the IP address is 2.0.0.1. Mine's been set differently as I'm connected to the inbuilt Ethernet. Let's talk about connecting your first device. Whether you're using a tablet, even a large phone, or a computer, you can connect to this network that is listed here. The network will be Lightshark with an underscore and then some letters and or numbers specific to your specific serial number. The IP address gives you an IP address that you can connect to. When you first connect, if you're using the internal network as listed here, the password will be SharkJaws, all lowercase with no spaces. You'll then be able to connect to the web page either lightshark.work in most cases or the IP address as listed here. Let's go ahead and do that. You'll see a brief loading screen, and then you should see this interface come up on your tablet or computer. We're on a computer today, but if you're on a tablet, go ahead, and the easiest way to create a shortcut is to go to your web browser, go to the options, and add to home screen. In different browsers and different devices, it may say different things, add shortcut, add to home screen, things like that. But you should have an option to add an icon to your main home screen of your tablet where you can just launch this and it will come up full screen like any other app. Of course, if you're going to customize your network settings, do that first and then store this to your home screen. The Lightshark can also be connected via Ethernet. By default, DHCP is enabled and that interface is turned on, so if you have a DHCP server or a router in your network, you should be good to go. However, if you're connecting via the tablet and need help on the Ethernet, go ahead to the settings menu, here in the preferences, and then go over to network setup. In this window, you'll see you have an option to set the Ethernet to static or disable it for DHCP and allow it to get its own IP address from the DHCP server. Whenever you apply a network setting, you will need to reboot, but then the network setting will be set. Exit to head back to the main interface. Let's talk about the basics of the Lightshark interface and everything you might need to know to get started. The first step on any lighting console to get started is to patch your fixtures. In the Lightshark, we'll head up to our quick menu, go to our patch screen, and then go to the Add Fixtures tab. There are many fixtures in the Lightshark, and more can be requested at community.lightshark.es. If you don't see your fixture listed, be sure to go to the community website, download the latest fixture package to ensure the fixture is not part of the package before requesting it. You'll see a variety of fixtures. One thing I want to highlight is selecting the brand and going to generic. Generic is where you're going to find a lot of profiles that you can use for fixtures that are fairly simple. For example, the one-channel HTP is excellent for controlling dimmers. You would just select this, Patch as many dimmers as you have, and you'll be good to go. If we head through the generic section, you'll see a variety of really useful profiles. For example, if we go to PQR, we'll see all of these different LED-based profiles for fixtures that are just a simple 3-channel RGB, an RGBA, RGBAL, UV, RGBAW, etc. A lot of non-moving wash fixtures are going to fit into these profiles just fine, and you probably don't need to request them because you'll get all the control you need with a generic profile. In addition, things like foggers and hazers are also available, and there are a lot of profiles in here for those types of things. There are even other profiles for things like pan and tilt, so if you're trying to control a fixture on the fly, sometimes those can really help. Let's go ahead and just grab some RGB or some RGB AW fixtures and do our first patch. First, we'll select the brand, select the fixture we want, and then select the mode. Most often, the fixture mode will be maybe the simplest version. It just depends on your needs. In this case, I'm choosing the LTP mode for this RGBAW 5-channel fixture. Now we have an amount field. We can use the plus or minus keys to add or subtract, but we can also hold and press, and then the set window will come up, and if you're on a mobile device, your keyboard will also appear. You can then enter as many fixtures as you need. In this case, I'll enter 10 and press OK. Next, if we toggle this advanced section, we can select exactly what universe and start channel we want this fixture to be at. The offset allows you to leave gap channels between fixtures if desired. In many use cases, you can just leave that advanced closed and go ahead and patch. You'll receive a success message when the patch is done, and then you can exit back to the main screen. Let me highlight some different parts of the main screen that are going to be very useful to you. First, we have our groups. Groups are automatically made for every fixture type that's patched, but you can also create your own user-generated groups. Fixtures shows you all of your individual fixtures, and the number pad gives you a classic way to be able to select and manipulate fixtures. Over here on the left, we have our parameters and our palettes. These are separated into the parameter groups here on the right. For example, let's go to color. Here, we have our individual parameters, red, green, blue, and white. And if we need to see the others, such as amber in this case, we can scroll in this area to see the rest of those parameters. Palettes allow us to create predefined palettes to use in multiple cues. In the case of colors, most fixtures have palettes that are already created in the fixture profile, making it even easier. There also are graphical pickers for various attributes. So in this case, there's a color picker, and for moving lights, there's going to be an XY coordinate that you can use for pan and tilt. Here on this main screen, we also have our same programming keys that are on the LS1 console itself, as well as some other really interesting stuff that we'll dive into later in these various panes. Next, we have highlight and find, clear and record. Another great 4 function buttons that we'll get into more later. At the bottom, we're going to see our 10 main playbacks that you're going to find on the LS1. You can access these as well on the LS Core, but just through the main screen like we have here. These 10 playbacks are in pages. You can select and go through the pages here, or on the virtual playback page where you can see the full fader with all of the playback. The interface is nice and works well on touch interfaces, and we're able to bring these different playbacks up and down, as well as see some master options. Now, the playbacks shown on screen are 10 wide, and that's what we see on the LS1. However, there are actually 30 playbacks wide and 99 pages. Those 30 playbacks can be accessed using an LS Wing or a MIDI device. Next, we have our cue list window that allows us to see individual cues within a cue list and manipulate them. The executors page gives you playback buttons, which are arranged in a handy grid. The program and output page gives you a programmer and some other tools to be able to see what you're currently working with that will be recorded into the resulting cues. And with that, we'll head back to the main palette screen and head on to our next video. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and continue through the playlist to learn the basics of using the Lightshark.